Hey everybody, welcome to Local Business Hacks Podcast. I'm your host, Carl Case, and I'm on a mission to help you. Every week, we're going to be talking to local business owners and experts to get their best tips, tricks, and hacks to grow your business. This show is designed to teach you, inspire you, and motivate you to take massive action and start to build your future-proof business. Whether you're just starting off or you're taking your existing business to the next level, this episode is for you. So let's get started. Hey, local business hackers. I'm your host, Carl Case, Director of Global Business Development at Referrizer, joined today by the founder and CEO of RollFast Fitness, Richard Deckard. Richard, welcome to Local Business Hacks, baby.
Thanks, Carl. I appreciate you having the time and taking the time.
Of course. So I know that you've been in this world now for quite some time. I'd love for you to tell our listeners what got you to this point in founding this organization and talk to us about your journey.
That's a long road. I don't know if you have enough time on this podcast. It's a long road. You know, I've been in the brick and mortar gym business for 32 years. I was just going over with one of my future business dealings that we have down the road, like how long we've been doing this. I got into RollFast Fitness purely out of fun. I was semi-retiring. I got rid of my last private training concierge facility, very high-end, not concierge, I'm sorry. Like an elite training facility just for the elite clientele that we service here. And I also had a 600-seat restaurant that I got rid of about 3 months before that. Stepping into semi-retirement, still like to work out. I'm a big motorcyclist. I'm going to cruise the world, drive my motorcycles, have fun. Girlfriend at the time told me we were pregnant. So, no more businesses. Brick and mortars are sold, closed, done. Own a monster truck. Have people who still want to work out. All my gyms were custom designed. We did crazy things in the ceilings. We did crazy things off the walls. We weren't like a conventional gym, peg pulling, weightlifting type gym. We created fitness to be fun and enjoyable. So I said, let me take this big Rocky Ridge truck that you see sitting behind me now, all jizzed up, to my metal manufacturer and said, let's make this into a pallet cage. We created the pallet cage, and the first year of business, I had an 80% net, which was, for somebody who's brick and mortar for probably 40 years, because I had restaurants prior to the gym, my nets were anywhere between 8 to 15%, to high to low. That was insane. And the cost to get into it, the cost of entry was so reduced compared to building a big gym or building a big restaurant. And that's when I entered the franchise world. That's it. That's
amazing.
That's the abbreviated version of the journey, but really now we're 4 years into RollFast Fitness. And 8 locations open, 23 more committed to, nuances of changes, brick and mortar owning multiple locations by yourself, much different than nationwide franchising, bringing in different personalities, different people into the system, realizing I'm no longer selling fitness. I'm selling a convenience service that the byproduct is fitness. Like my commodity is fitness, but my product is convenience. Totally different than any brick and mortar environment that I've ever been in. Enjoyable, fun, trying, just like you could just take anybody who gets involved with me when they come, and I'm like, just take what you know about brick and mortar and just throw it out the window. We're mobile, we're multiple states. So that part, probably in the last 4 years of doing this, has been a longer journey than the 28 years prior.
That's wild. So talk to
Like
me about
dog years.
how can people get involved with RollFast Fitness? What's the best place?
If they're coming as a consumer, obviously it's just rollfastfitness.com. If they're coming as a franchise potential owner, you're reaching directly out to me. Everybody has to get vetted through me. So you could go to rollfastfitnessfranchise.com, but you need to come directly to Decker at rollfastfitness.com and put in an application of why, almost like an essay of why you believe you'll be a good fit. Because what we're doing now, it's almost like job placement. We're really going after retired vets and first responders, because in my brick and mortar experience, they were the best at what they did because they've already gone through some kind of rigorous training to get the jobs that they attained for years. And a lot of those times in those jobs, they were doing things they really didn't like to do, but they still got it done because it was part of their training and what they had to do. But realizing that these individuals also don't have the financial ability to just say, hey, here's $100,000, let me get a truck, let's go into business. For us, a perfect fit is we'll put them in business. So it's kind of like a job placement. You'll come and it'll be like, hey, Gary, great. You were in this service. You want to do this. I'm going to give you Fort Lauderdale. If you hit $300,000 in Fort Lauderdale, I'm going to turn you into the owner. I'm going to now reback this out. and we're going to sell this territory to you because you've proven track record. You know how to work the concept. You've proven what you've done, and the business itself is going to self-fund it. So I'm going to invest in them to make sure we're getting the right person behind the wheel, pun intended, in one of our territories, right? And I'm real excited about it because we also, in along with that, we're doing a big brand integration program. We're going to bring free fitness into the communities based on our sponsors, because there's a lot of people who can't afford what we do. And truly, fitness shouldn't be a luxury. It should be a way of life. So we're going to offer that through a sponsor brand integration program, not interrogation. We should interrogate a lot of these people. But so it's really exciting time. So this time in this call, you're in a transition of how we're repositioning to present the brand to the communities, because if we got to do that much hand holding on franchises to get them up and running, get them doing what they're doing, which is nothing wrong with it. But as you know, a lot of franchisees never owned a business before. Yep. I've never had a boss other than 6 months of my life from the time I was 18 to 18 and a half. I've been self-employed entrepreneurial, which basically just means I'm a technician with an entrepreneurial seizure because I work too much in my businesses, not on my businesses. This one I actually get to work on. I enjoy training people, but at least I get to work on this business and these creative programs, like how do we do the Retired Heroes, the RHBO program, or how do we do the Get America Fit program, the brand integration program. Those are exciting things for me as a CEO and a founder, and then just finding the right people to carry it out.
It's amazing. And Richard Deckard on LinkedIn, people, definitely active. RollFastFitness.com. Thank you, Richard, for sharing that. Would love to dive right in regards to what this podcast is all about. I know that 40 years in brick and mortar has taught you so many lessons, and you've paid the idiot tax God knows how many times. I'd love to give you the mic to share some of those stories that really molded your toolkit of tricks and hacks in your book.
Well, a lot of tricks and hacks in the books is really in the entrepreneurial world and in the brick and mortar and in this business. But you're almost, and I probably shouldn't be promoting this, but I will because it's the really way to get through if you're an entrepreneur. You'd rather say, give an apology than ask for permission. Because the time you wait for that municipality, or the time you wait for them to green light you, like I remember when I built one of my brick and mortar gyms, we already established in this community called Southampton. Now we're taking over a school in Sag Harbor right on the water. And it's a beautiful facility, but you want to be open before Memorial Day because we're a summer seasonal town. And I could share this story right now because everybody who participated and helped me get this done is no longer employed by the municipalities. We're going back 25 years. There's no way I would have made getting it open if I had to go by all the different appointments, by the different zoning and coding and signage and all that. So we made a deal with the local building inspector to smoke out all the windows, take photos of all the work being done so we could get it done and then get the permit process after we've already opened the doors. Those are the kind of things you need to really work with the people in your community. Don't go head to head with these municipalities and or authorities that grant you permission to do things because it's their moment of power. Right. Just go to them and give them the power. Let them know you're beholden to them, but you really got a family to feed. You really need to open your business. And we opened on time. We opened Memorial Day. The guy could basically, I got my permit and my CO the same. It was like a handshake. Oh, here's your permit, here's your CO. And we did that with a lot of the things we do because a lot of the stuff, when you're getting involved, they're all antiquated. And especially when you're embarking, there's never been a mobile fitness truck. So I opened up a year and a half before COVID. My friend had a mobile pet service. He was shut down during COVID.
Wow.
Because his pets were enclosed, right? They come inside the truck, they close the doors, they bathe them, they wash them, so they could bring COVID back in the house. We were working out right next to code enforcement, police enforcers without asking permission. We just respected the public gathering law, and we're in New York. So granted, that was like the shutdown state. That was the lead, Mr. Cuomo, the lead shutdown state. I'm working right next to code enforcement and police enforcement. And as long as I just kept up to 10 people on my truck, which is plenty of distance around the truck. Now I know for a fact, if I went to the local town hall and said, hey, can I have permission to do this? They'd be like, no, we don't know COVID. So I just went and did it. Now they need to find a reason to tell me why I can't do it.
Yep.
And we were never bothered at all. And then what we did to shake the community's hand with that, when we weren't doing classes, we did local food deliveries to the food pantries because they couldn't get their trucks to do it. So we basically turned our fleet of trucks into like a public service on the off hours. So it's all about that. It's all about give and take and not butting heads, because they want to show their power, and they can, and they show it in a very off-centered way, not realizing how it's affecting you and or your employees and or your customers.
That's awesome. And what are other ways that you've applied that law or not the law to your business?
Just to get it advanced and accelerate even with your consumers. So you really want to go above and beyond to service them and any needs they do. You know what I did yesterday with my truck? I moved one of my customers' couches. They had a sleeper couch and they couldn't get a moving company to come and get it done, and they had to get it moved. So, we move the equipment over to the side of the truck, we throw it in, we drop it off, you do it. Because again, it's just about servicing people and enjoying them. People are like, what are you doing? You're the CEO and founder of this company. You're moving somebody's couch. No, I'm not moving the couch. I'm actually helping somebody out, because the best exercise in the world is reach down and help somebody out. They needed a hand. It's not a big deal. Don't get too big for yourself, no matter how much you're making or not making. Every champion in business, and you hit it perfectly clear, we go through the idiot tax. I call it the mistake. It's called a mistake. There's no mistakes. It's like, this is my movie. And right now the truck is my lead. And anything is like mistake number one, you can't hire that person to train for you. So I might have 500 mistakes. There's not one Hollywood show that we've seen that just was one and done in the can. This might be a first for your podcast, one and done in the can, but I'm sure we'll make a mistake. There's got to be something that's going to be bleeped out, cut out, done. And everybody, it's like, I liken business to, I have two toddlers. I told you my girl was pregnant. So we have a 3-year-old and a 1.5-year-old.
Congrats.
And I'm watching them. And I have a 30 and a 28-year-old too. They think I'm crazy, but it's all right. So
for those of you listening, Richard has a gorgeous set of hair. So clearly he's not as stressed out as most people with 4 kids.
I'm 59 years old and ready to rock and go. So
amazing.
I watch my children learn how to walk. They fall down. Did I yell at them?
No.
Did I say, what the hell is wrong with you? Get up. You know better. You're so old. You're already like 11 months old. You should know better already. No, I don't. Every nuance, every new venture we try, whether it's in love, relationship, or business, we're going to fall down, and we beat ourselves up more than anybody else. And anybody that has an opinion to beat you up, you know what? They work for somebody. They're collecting a paycheck. They didn't even have the balls to try. My son opened his first business 2 years ago, and he lost $30,000 in his mind. And he was very frustrated. I said, you didn't lose anything. You learned $30,000 ways, you're never going to do that again. That's a college education. You did one thing that I'm so proud of you that I can't say I'm proud of everybody else. I said, you tried. Wayne Dyer, world famous philosopher, said the most expensive real estate in the world is a gravesite, because everybody dies with their ideas. We all don't die with the music in you. There is no way of failing other than not trying.
Yeah. And it's amazing how many people, though, do try and then don't learn from their mistakes. So be awake, be present, learn from these things. And it's okay to lose, because when we come back so much stronger.
I'm also an author. Okay. I have a book coming out called Giving New Meaning. And the word try is in the book, because to try for me is to revere yourself. That's all it is. It's not about giving it a attempt. It's not about getting it done. Right now, in this moment in time, my passion is my fitness business, which basically is a concierge service business, which is not even fitness. So I'm revealing myself in that business. Part of me is in that business. Part of Roy Kroc was in McDonald's. Part of, Domino's Domino's wasn't selling pizza, right? What was Domino's doing? They were selling, I'll get your food in 30 minutes.
Yeah.
Domino's didn't care that their competitors went to a pizza counter and got a slice of pizza, because that was not their business. So my business isn't somebody who goes to a gym. Identify who your customer is and why you could service your customer and what frustration we could alleviate from the customer. But you can't identify any of that if you're just going to sit back with your idea and not pull the trigger. Listen, I've made more and lost more than I could ever imagine possible. But I've never really lost anything, because anytime I have had a loss, I've learned something. The biggest and the best. Anybody that I refer to for their business accolades or what they do, the stories and the broke and the couch searching and the credit and I've lived it all. I listen to stories. I'm like, wow, yeah, I had that. I had the 6'3" repo guys coming to the door who made me look small. I'm 6'4", and these guys are 6'3", had more muscles than The Rock and tattoos that I didn't even see skin. And they're like, Are we going to have any problems with you, sir? I'm like, damn, you guys sent some badasses to get your shit. I went through all of that and then recreate another business.
Yep.
You're going to get knocked down. Just don't stay down. Don't tap out. Don't stay down. The name that I'm putting on my boat is called Knees Not Down. Because my lawyer asks me all the time, he's like, where are we at? I said, we're at the 99-yard line. The whole defensive team is on my back, but my knee's not down. I'm going in the end zone. As long as you just don't, you're going in. But a lot of people, entrepreneur, right? When I break the word down, is enter the shit. And people, you're entrepreneur. You're entering and people
That's
don't
awesome.
get it. And what happens is, at the first sign of financial insecurity, at the first sign of a struggle, they fold up. They don't believe enough in their passion, I'm not going to say they don't believe in their passion. They let the believers of the outside influencers who told her they were not good enough. They can never do that. They didn't come from this. How do you think? Why do you think? And they give into that.
Get new friends.
Right. Or disregard the good opinions of others because it's their good opinion. Can't even say it's a good, bad opinion. It's theirs. Like a good opinion, everybody has a good asshole. It's like, just leave it out. It's like, but a lot of people don't. Because I've dealt with that in the franchise now, because I've never seen that. Because all my friends are all entrepreneurs. We all own our own shit. My whole family is. All my brothers, none of us went to college except for my sister, and she's a nurse. Now she's a retired nurse. But all of us, car dealerships, marinas, we've all established our own business, contractor, landscapers. But the people who haven't done it, and now that I see these people who leave their 9-to-5 job, get in it, I mean, you don't understand. I have $20,000 left in the bank. We're broke. I don't know what we're going to do. I'm like, yeah, what? You have $20,000 left in your bank? And I said, you broke? Your cash flow costs you $10,000 a month. You have 2 more months of cash flow. Why aren't you looking at how much money you can make? You can make $50,000 in a month. Why is $20,000? Why are you even thinking about that? Why are you even scared about that? I said, when I start getting scared, when I'm negative 250 in the bank. I said, I'm negative. That's when I might start getting concerned. But there is no point of concern because you can only resurrect and recreate and reinvent yourself. The game is never over. The only time it's over is when we. But these people, they quit. They fold up shop. They go back to their 9-to-5. They hate their lives. They're pissed at the world.
Learn from your mistakes.
That's why I'm doing the new business platform. I'm going to put you into play. And I'm going to help you move all your pieces on the game board.
It's very awesome.
You prove that you can earn the money. Now I know you're valuable to me. You're valuable to the brand, but you have self-value in yourself. You're confident that you could do something you never thought you could do.
Amazing. Amazing. Thank you for those insights, Richard. I'd love to hear from you. How does technology play a role in your day-to-day today? And if there's any artificial intelligence that you're using in that, please feel free to add that to the answer.
Oh, I was supposed to do a disclaimer before this that this is actually not Richard Decker. This is an AI bot chat talking to you. Richard is being right now. Yeah, I didn't do that. I didn't say that.
That's pretty good.
Richard show just I did I hate technology, but we all need it, right? I mean, the biggest part of technology for me is appointment setting, calendar keeping, because my phone bangs all day long and people trying to get it. The fact that we have that speed and efficiency. Hey, you have an 8 o'clock available today. Or like yesterday, we were supposed to talk at 10:30, but a customer came in and wanted at 10 o'clock. So I knew I could do it 10:45. So quickly I could send you a text and we reschedule this. To me, that's the best part of technology, how fast you can maneuver so you don't lose any money. It's not like, oh, I got to wait to go back and look at my calendar and talk. AI world, it's amazing. I'm really having a lot of fun with it because I'll go in and just put in a paragraph, like all my programs I'm introducing right now. I'll go in and put in a paragraph of what I really feel. And I'll be like, and now pretend you are, I'll pick on the job offering one or when you got to do contracts, you're a top contract lawyer. I'm getting documentation back better than, and it would cost me like Dan Kennedy, the guy, no SBS marketing. Pretend you are Dan Kennedy and you're going to pitch this marketing to a team, to the board of directors of XYZ company. How would you present it? And bam, within 40 seconds. And then a little disclaimer, I am not Dan Kennedy. This is artificial intelligence. We're just giving you. And then I go in and wordsmith it because then I could be able to make it my own because I know how I talk. And I'm like, I'm not going to use that. But how? So they probably just saved me about 5 or 10 hours.
Oh, and
in front of the computer because we're going to sit in front of the computer, you and I, and we're going to have kids, family, phones. Everything's going to be banging away at us, distracting us. Now, 42 seconds, all I got to do is say, and then I'll get it, and I'll be like, okay, I like this approach. Now reword it down to 200 words or less. So it's one brief email. So that I've used it when I had somebody send a legal complaint. I used it for fun. I just said, because I do have a battery of lawyers, unfortunately. But I said, let me see how this works. I said, act as if you're a top litigant and defend this within seconds. And it comes back. And I actually handed it to my attorney. And I said, what do you think? He goes, how did you do this? He goes, you were. I said, no, this is AI, man. I said, your job's in jeopardy. I said, he's like, this is good. I said, yeah, you just put in, because they don't really look at it, but I think it's going to have a huge, we're turning into Matrix. That's my only really concern, because machines will probably turn against us. But I think it's going to have a huge impact in certain industries where people can't afford that $5,000 or $10,000 response in a legal letter, because some of the industries are just, they're priced outrageously high, and you could get it done for free and it gets the job done.
I'm dying to share. Ryan, I hope you listen to this podcast. I have a dear friend of mine that got quotes, the cheapest quote to represent him in this like ridiculous case. I'm not going to go into it. Was $100,000.
Yeah.
He represented himself. He won. He learned everything on ChatGPT, had exactly what and how to say it, and he won. So I agree with you. Now's the time to really think about, is your job able to be replaced? And when we look at fitness, what you offer is not replaceable. It's a real energetic experience that technology can't replace. Now, can technology enhance it over time? Of course.
Sure. It does now. Like we use Tabata timers. We use a lot of technology in our workouts. Like let's look at the bell, the timer. So we're not counting reps. So now I could have 10 people to truck at the same time and not say everybody do a set of 10. Now it's just like you have 30 seconds on, 10 seconds off. Listen to the bell, listen to the whistle. And I'm just going to make sure you're doing everything correctly. But the one thing that fitness does that AI chat doesn't do, I give you a sense of accountability, because we all have. Fitness has been replaced. Gyms have been replaced by the home gyms, which basically become coat hangers, dust collectors. Nobody uses them. I have clients. I pull my truck up to clients' driveways, and they're all the well-established. They have state-of-the-art gyms in their house. Without me there, they're not going to use it. So I'm going to choose to work out outdoors on my stuff. They're like, wherever you want to work out, I got this beautiful gym. I'm like, yeah, that is nice. Probably got $1 million in that thing right there. I said, yeah, we're not going to use it. I'm like, let's go outside. I said, you want to be outside, the elements, working out in the elements, all this stuff. So part of when I created this, I had my last facility. We had a 75,000 square foot outdoor fitness park that I made.
Wow.
And people loved working out outdoors. So I'm like, what am I doing paying landlords? Why am I paying brick and mortar? Like I said, this came from fun, but I didn't go back into the restaurant business. I didn't go back into the brick and mortar. I came up with this. I used AI intelligence. It was actually really funny because I had somebody who thought she was my employee by an offer letter. And then I tried her out for 2 weeks and paid her in advance, and she failed miserably. So we discontinued the services. So she said, no, you signed a contract back with me in December. And this was now like April. I need all that back pay. She's suing me for like $7,800, which was the highest you could go in Fort Lauderdale courts. So I called the lawyer in Florida because somebody has to represent, or it's automatic default. I'm in New York now in the height of my season. For me to take a day off and go there, it's $4,000, $5,000. I'm calling lawyers like, yeah, we'll show up $3,000, $5,000, all the stupid numbers. I'm like, guys, this is like a no-brainer. She doesn't have a contract. She has an offer letter. I just need somebody to go to a judge and say, there is no contract represented here. This is an offer letter that clearly states in bold print, this is not an employee contract. Nobody would do it for that money. So my general manager who lives there, I went to AI chat. I had a 1-paragraph page printed. I handed this to him. I said, go to the courthouse, talk to the mediator, show them this, and don't budge. And he kept calling me. They want to do this. I said, no. Tell them, look, guys, just keep referring to the letter. There is no contract established, and we will countersue for the time it's costing to be there. And when we countersue, we're going to go for libel. We're going to go for defamation. Went down a whole list of what the AI chat did. And I actually showed my attorney. That's the one I showed him because he wasn't going from New York there. He goes, this is good. Let's just present the letter. He goes, there's no way a judge can deny this. And sure enough, we won.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Amazing. Richard, what is the way that you guys incentivize people to try you for the first time? Because offers are forever changing, as when you were in the big box world versus restaurants versus your mobile space today. What's been your hero offer to really get people to show them what you're made of?
We do this thing because I'm fortunate enough to be in business before the internet. So we didn't have Facebook. We didn't have TikTok and Instagram. We actually had what I call integrated marketing. You need to actually talk to your consumer, shake your consumer's hand, display the product that you're offering, do pre-membership sales. I did almost $300,000 in my first year of this truck and not one Facebook ad.
Amazing.
We've spent a ton of money on Facebook ads and not one customer. So what does that tell me about technology and what I offer as a business? I'm not your big box gym that can get 100 people to come, free fitness for the day and 10% off. That's the brick and mortar.
Yeah.
This is the truck, which if I move this, which way? This way, you see the truck. That's my advertising. That's so we bring it to high visible locations. We park it, we train it, we turn the music on, we answer questions, we say, come on, jump in for a free workout. 9 out of 10 times we're hired pretty quickly in the community. You just need to, because it has that sex appeal, it has that curiosity. And especially if you're doing a workout in a high visible location, people walking by and seeing it and they want to try it. That's really been awesome. And will be our mainstay. So much so that now we're doing the brand integration program. It's called America's Healthiest Tailgate Party. So with these brands, and I'll put their names and we can get products of the brand to the consumer while their brand's being seen by millions in the course of a month of us driving around communities. Like you see them on buses, you see them on these little electric cars that drive people back and forth to the beach. It's called the circuit. I'm in and out of a community and in people's driveway for the course of the day, every day, 30 days a month. But I get to talk to the consumer about why the product is well. And also we allow those brands to do free fitness classes with our trainers to the local community centers where they can't afford fitness. So it's basically making brands become consumer conscious, but utilizing the old fashioned way of marketing. And not everybody jumps into this Facebook marketing, and they all have value, but for the majority of business, they don't. And they don't look at their ROI. They don't look at their ad spend. They don't look at what you're getting. I'm not spending $1 on marketing if I'm not getting 3 back. If I don't see a 3-to-1 ratio, I don't understand why I'm doing it. Because I'd rather spend none and just do the slow and steady and win the race. Because you could deplete your business so fast with a bad advertising marketing budget. People don't understand. That's why they go bankrupt. And every one of these new franchises that come on board with me are like, we need to spend more money on social media. We need to do. I said, why? I said, I have the history in front of me. You don't get any return on that. That's for your ego.
Get outside.
That ad,
Go knock on all the businesses around that you want to partner with and introduce yourself.
And do co-branding and we do collaborative efforts with the vitamin shops. But you don't understand, this person has 1 million likes. I said, well, tell that person to take the 1 million likes and go make their car payment. Tell them to go pay for their food. If likes could start paying for food, if likes could start being known as a currency, I'm all for the likes. Likes is nothing but an ego build and you got to be seen. I use social media for... I'm hanging out with Gary and I get, hey, Gary, you know what? I just had a great workout on this truck today. What are you talking about? I never seen the truck. Oh, check out their Instagram. That's why we use social media. So now me can refer you to the truck and then you get to see what the truck is. It's not about going there and buy one, get one free and you lose 50 pounds because I'm not selling fitness. I'm selling a service that makes your life convenient.
Yep.
Selling an accountability to get yourself off your fat ass and come on outside and work out and have a good time. I mean, that's really all I'm selling. So I'm training a client today. I said, you got anything exciting for the day? He goes, yeah, we got to go easy. He goes, I got a golf game coming up. I said, it's all right. I'll stretch you out. We'll get you open for the golf. I said, you play anywhere interesting? Because I'm in the Hamptons. We have some of the best courses in the country. He goes, yeah, I'm jumping on a plane. We're flying to Canada. We're playing. I got tea time at 12 o'clock. I said, that's the first time I've ever heard that answer. He's like, yeah, it's like one of the most unique courses in Quebec. He goes, we're in the middle of an investment deal. These are the investors. They're flying us in to play around the golf. I'll be back this afternoon.
Nice.
So he didn't have the gym time to go to the gym time to do this. This is a triathlete competitor. He loves to work out, but he had time to walk out his drive at 45 minutes before the car came pick him up and flew him to a golf game. So awesome. I'm selling convenience. I'm selling convenience with the byproduct is fitness.
Oh yeah. It's awesome. Richard, before we wrap up, I got to ask you my favorite question.
Uh-oh.
If you could have dinner with a historical figure from the past or present,
Who would it
be? What are you talking about? And what's on the dinner plate?
Oh, wow. This is a good one. I would have to go with Wayne Dyer, who's a philosopher that I believe and follow for a long time, because we walk a lot of the same path, a lot of the books I wrote or writing. And when I got his material, it was a lot of aha moments. Not even aha moments, just reading it. There was a lot of identification. Like you seem like you've already walked the similar paths. And then our lives so intertwined because people I had in my current life worked with him on his first books. They're like, oh yeah, we know Wayne. And these are people I met just out of the blue. So it's like you coincide. And unfortunately, he passed before we got to meet in person. But I guess the topic of conversation was just really how to better support the human essence of people at best when the environment given today, because that's the one thing that changes. The human essence really hasn't changed. The environment has changed our essence. The human being has been the human being, but the environment keeps molding us and cutting us. And one of the books that I'm working on is called Rewrite Your Blueprint, because we're really not what we were meant to be and what people say we are to be. We have our own shit. Like, you're coming out with your own stuff. I create my own stuff, but it's a lot of work because you have parents, girlfriends, boyfriends, teachers, police. You have a lot of people telling you what should be when we already know what should be, because we came here just to be. And it's really,
the one thing that's inevitable is change.
Well, it's funny because I'm not a big fan of his, but I love the work that he does because he's helped so many people, is Tony Robbins. And he goes, the one thing I love about people, and let me stress again, I'm not a big fan of his, but I do. He has helped millions of people. And the one thing I love about the one thing he says all the time, he goes, I get a kick out of when people are like, yeah, I'm working on change. He's like, what the hell is wrong with you? It happens every day. The only thing you don't have to work on is change. It's like, it is happening. Just like you said, it's inevitable. Every day is going to be different something. And what's on the dinner plate? Well, I'm going to lie my first response because my vegan partner is in the kitchen. So I'm going to have something very vegan and healthy for the environment. You know, not going to be an animal. It's not going to be anything that hurts society. And then, no, I'm going to tell the truth. I will have my vegan dish on the side. I'm a big fish lover, and I'm really not red meat anymore. I used to be big red meat when I was younger. So probably just some really exotic fish that I've never had here. Like,
you had lionfish?
What's that?
You had lionfish?
I never had. No, I actually had lionfish. Yes.
It's got to be caught in a cage. It's pretty cool.
Yeah, something like that. Like, we go to this really great restaurant called Bistro Ete, and we just love the way we're foodies, and we love the way we put together. But you couldn't meet two different types of foodies because she's very vegan pescatarian. I'm very pescatarian carnivore. But it's an interesting combination.
It's awesome. Richard, what are some of your favorite books, as our last question, that you recommend to people to read in entrepreneurship or in their personal life, ones that you're reading now or have in the past? Give me some of your tops.
All right. Entrepreneurship E-Myth by Michael Greber. No BS Marketing by Dan Kennedy. That's great. It's interesting. Just and take them all with a grain of salt. Take them for direction. Don't take them for plagiarize. Just take them for let them invigorate something inside of you. You already have what Dan's had. You already have everybody. We all have our own shit. Problem is, we try to, make somebody else's. It's like, doesn't work. You're not going to copy. You can't be a copycat, but let them invigorate something in you. Debbie Ford had a great book called 21 Days to Consciousness Cleanse.
Yep.
What's really good about that is we're all into this fasting, our body and our health and stuff, but this is about cleaning your conscience, cleaning the soul and the mind and getting into one thing. Sherrod's got a book called Positive Impact, which is really good. I have a lot of books, dude. My book coming out called Giving New Meaning is going to be better than all of those. We're going to give new meaning to what authorship should be, right? So you got to believe in yourself more than anybody else. And most of Wayne Dyer's books, one of his best was How Do You Get What You Really, Really Want? And that's really about both. That's about entrepreneurship and your own internal personal space.
Sweet. Richard, thank you so much for all these insights. Thank you for being a mover and shaker in this forever evolving fitness space. And we're beyond excited over here at Referrizer and our listeners now in 70 something countries.
Nice.
To continue to follow RollFast Fitness and you and your beautiful family's journey. And congrats again. And thanks for coming on and sharing your story.
Gary, thank you so much.
Thank you so much. That's it for this week's episode. I hope you found it helpful. Be sure to head over to our site, local-business-hacks.com, to check out the show notes and send me questions or ideas for future episodes. If you want to grow your business, just like the people you've heard from here, follow Local Business Hacks Podcast and tune in for new tips, tricks, and tactics. Until next time, thanks for listening and keep hacking.